Rwanda is commemorating the 25th anniversary since the start of the devastating 1994 genocide. The country has, from April the 7th, been in a state of mourning for 100 days in honor of the 800,000 lives that were lost in the sad and horrific events. President Paul Kagame led the country in this commemoration on Sunday. As part of the memorial, about 2,000 people marched together on a walk of remembrance from Parliament buildings to the Amahoro National Stadium, which was used by United Nations officials to try to protect the minority Tutsi tribe during the killings. In his speech, the president said Rwanda had become a family once again, that the resilience and bravery of the genocide survivors represented the Rwandan character in its purest form. He also took the opportunity to caution other nations of trying to interfere with the country's affairs.
Les cérémonies de dimanche étaient par ailleurs.
Ceremonies were packed with officials including heads of states and governments from across Africa like Congolese Denis Sassou Nguesso, the Nigerian Mamadou Issoufou, Chadian Idriss Déby Itno. But the one who was absent from the event held in Kigali was none other than French President Emmanuel Macron. Since the Élysée, the latter announced Sunday a day of commemoration in France. This is a new breakthrough, according to the victim support associations, after the limited opening of the archives announced last Friday. The president had indicated on that day that a commission of historians and researchers will be set up to shed light onto the controversial role of betting in the 1994 tragedy.
Ethan Tashobia is a journalist in Rwanda, and he joins us now from the capital, Kigali, to talk about the genocide 25 years later. Thank you for joining us, Ethan. The genocide has been a long-standing source of tension between France and Rwanda over who triggered the killings. French President Emmanuel Macron says that he wants to declare April the 7th as a national day to commemorate the 1994 genocide. But where does this leave the investigation?
One would say it's been a war of ego, especially from France's side, trying not to admit their role in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. There was a press conference, by the president of Rwanda. He was appreciating what President Macron is doing to normalize relations between the two countries. He has also put a commission to investigate France's role in 1994 genocide in Rwanda. That's something we've never heard of, from France's side. I think France is taking one step at a time towards admitting their role. And, President Kagame was saying they do not have to force France to apologize for what they did. It has to come from them. So if you look at what is happening from Paris, it shows that France is really starting to realize, not actually realizing, but to admit the country's role in the genocide that happened in Rwanda 25 years ago. So it's quite an impressive one for a young president like Macron, who is coming forth to correct the wrongs of what his predecessors did. And it could be an era we might very soon see France admitting and correcting the wrongs they did in Rwanda and what they have done in Africa over the years.
Alors, le président Paul Kagame
has once again warned his Rwandan advisories. What do you think of the reaction he gets from the international community on this message?
C'est la première fois qu'il tient de tels propos. Que dire de la réaction de la communauté internationale à son message?
So what he said, what he continued to say, what he actually even said this afternoon is he did not specify on the threat, but he mentioned that whoever is, trying to destabilize Rwanda will actually be messed with big time. That's the word he used during his remarks at the commemoration event. He's saying Rwanda is open for dialogue. Of course, there are a couple of states, a country like Uganda, are hosting and supporting dissidents that want to destabilize Rwanda. There is still some issues with Burundi, that also involve the same elements that want to destabilize Rwanda. He said that Rwanda is willing to dialogue, sit and talk to whoever is willing to talk to them. But if there's anyone who wants to destabilize or destroy what has been achieved 25 years ago, they will be dealt with big time. And he revealed that Tshisekedi told him that he wants to normalize relations. He wants to make sure that there is lasting peace in Great Lakes region. And that's what, he was saying, that moving forward, one of the things that have really hindered Africa's progress was this kind of conflict.
We have to leave it at that, Ethan, but thanks very much for accepting to speak to us today. Ethan Teshobia, a journalist in Rwanda, speaking to us from the capital, Kigali. You are still watching the Morning Call right here on Africanews. You can get all these and other stories from across the continent and beyond on TV and on the Africanews website, www.africanews.com. Still to come in the program, China's virtual reality arcades are aiming for real-world success. A number of towns and cities in the country have declared themselves incubator zones that are integrating VR into research, manufacturing, education, and other spheres, luring in capital. Stick around to find out more on that. And Real Madrid are increasingly confident of signing Eden Hazard this summer. Waiting to see how it goes, but all this and much more coming up shortly after the break.